So in each of these three sponge body plans, which gradate from the asconoid into cycanoid into leuconoid, with a lot of intermediate variations in between, we see an increase in complexity. So in the asconoid sponges, we have a single chamber that's lined with choanocytes. In the cycanoid sponges, we see multiple flagellated chambers, each of which somewhat resembles an asconoid sponge in and of itself. And then a leuconoid sponge looks like several flagellated chambers, several different incurrent canals, with excurrent canals connecting those flagellated chambers to each other. So within the phylum Porifera, there are three classes that I want you to learn about. The class Calcarea, the Hexactinellida, and the Demospongii. And I'm not going to go through these in this order because I want to show you a video about Hexactinellida after I've talked about all of this diversity. So I'll talk about them last. So the class Calcarea is a strictly marine class of sponges, no freshwater members of Calcarea. They have calcareous spicules. So the spicules are made up of calcium carbonate. They tend to be very small sponges, but all three body types may be represented. The Demospongii represents the bulk of the majority of species of sponges, about 80% of all species, both marine and freshwater members, but unlike the Calcarea, they have siliceous spicules, so they're made up of silicon dioxide or glass, and they may also have spongin fibers, spongin being the protein that sometimes makes up the mesohyl of sponges. And a sponge might have both, or only one of those types of spicules. And members of Demospongii are of the leuconoid body type. The Hexactinellida is the third class of sponges, and these are typically found in deep waters. Waters over a mile deep may have members of the Hexactinellida. And the characteristic which is really distinctive in hexactinellids is that they have spicules that have 6 rays to them. So they are also siliceous, and they have those 6-rayed spicules. The bodies are a bit more complex. They're not the asconoid, but are typically cycanoid or leuconoid. They don't have pinacocytes, but they do have networks of amoebocytes that are fused together in a structure called a syncytium. Syn meaning together, cytium referring to cells, so cells working together. And one characteristic member of the Hexactinellida is a Venus's flower basket, which is the species Euplectella aspergillum, which is famous for being a common wedding gift in Japanese culture because, for one, they're very kind of ornate and beautiful, and for two, there is a group of shrimp in the genus Spongicola, or sponge lovers, that are often found in mating pairs inside these Venus's flower baskets at depth. So the shrimp enter the sponge as larvae when they are small enough to pass through the pores in the sponge, but then when they start mating, when they reach reproductive age, they are no longer able to travel through those pores anymore, so they kind of end up being confined in there and being protected by the body of the sponge, because no deep sea creature wants to eat a glass sponge just for the sake of getting at a pair of shrimp. So somewhat metaphoric for marriage is the Venus's flower basket, but a lot of other really interesting things going on with Euplectella aspergillum, as you will see in the next video.